right, yogi, let's start today at the top of our mats. Feet hips distance apart. Find a focal point. And we'll draw awareness to breath so that we can kick on the abdominal wall and even the root lock as we get going today. Taking a natural inhale. And then an exhale to the true bottom. Again, an inhale, growing tall. And an exhale. Abdominal wall draws back. And pelvic floor tones and lifts. Keep some of that engagement as you inhale, expand. And then one last time, empty all the way. Next, inhale, draw the feet together, sweep your arms up overhead, diving fully down. Send hands to shins, lengthen. Let's exhale, step the left foot to the back of the mat, rocking with it. Keep the left hand here, sweep the right arm up to the sky. And then exhale, hands down. Inhale, step to plank pose. Exhale, lower how you do. Inhale the heart up. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Pedaling out. And rocking hips side to side. Let's walk the feet halfway up the mat. Press the heart back. Neck is long. Lift the sitting bones high. And straighten through your right leg. Then straighten through the left. And straighten through both. And finish the walk, feet right between your hands, fingers to shins or the floor as you lengthen back. Exhale, fold completely down. Root down to rise up. Exhale, arms to Tadasana. Back up, overhead. Dive down. Flat back. Exhale the right foot to the back of the mat, rocking with it. Wake up the feet, ankles, knees, hips, big muscles of the legs. Keep the right hand here. Inhale the left arm to the sky. Exhale, hands plant. Inhale, step to plank pose. Exhale, lower in your way. Inhale, the heart comes up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Cadence in the breathing. Come onto toes, bend the knees enough to feel compression, belly resting up on the thighs. You're going to leap your feet just halfway up the mat. Set the heels down, press the heart towards your kneecaps, head goes heavy. This time right hand grabs left ankle, take a twist, actively reaching through left arm, even though the fingers stay on the ground. Switch your sides. release. Once again, soften knees enough to get compression, belly on the thighs. Can you keep that connection there as you leap the seat up, land the feet between your hands? Go ahead. Lengthen. Fold down. Root and rise. Tadasana. Let's come back through a salute, reaching upward. Diving down. Flat back. And step or leap to chaturanga, or the way you lower. Opening heart at up dog or cobra, linger on it. Exhale, downward facing dog. Connect to breathing. Directing prana everywhere. On to toes, bend the knees, leap the feet between your hands. Long spine, fold fully, root and rise. Exhale, arms to Tadasana. Let's put a bend right in the knees, sweep the arms up, Utkatasana. Exhale, dive over legs. Inhale, flatten. Exhale, step or leap as you lower toward chaturanga or the ground. Inhale, open your heart, get the full inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Sweep the right leg up behind. Place this foot between your hands. Climb up to high lunge. As you do, interlace the fingers, flip the palms inside out. Open shoulders and chest. Don't feel imprisoned. You can make some movement here. On an exhale, create humble warrior. So tip forward, ground the back heel, interlace behind you, and bow completely. Keep the integrity at the hips. So that right hip rolls in, back, and maybe even a little bit up. You don't want to sink too deep. Let's breathe. Inhale, fingers to earth. Walk them over to the left, and we're going to find a squat over at the left side. The left toes point out, knee bends outward. For half a squat, hands into the heart. Right toes can point up. Breathe into the chest. A little half bind. Send this left arm in front of the left shin. Plant that palm. You're actually going to dive the right hand to the back of the mat as well. Lift the back heel. So here you are with this left shin bone kind of high up on the left tricep. That could feel like enough, or you'd bend that knee so much the heel hovers. If that seems to be going well, take your elbows in just a touch. You're going to take a little arm balance, send the heart forward and float the back leg. I don't know if this has a name. It's kind of like a modified half bakasana float. So heart forward, back foot drags in, eventually lifts up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Set the back foot down, place the front foot down, walk on over to the center of your legs. Parallel feet, flat back, bow in. Flatten the back. Point the toes out, and left toes in, right toes out. Walk on over to the inside of this right foot again. Let's tuck this left knee right behind the right wrist. We'll sit all the way down, taking our Matsyendrasana twist. Elbow hooks outside the thigh. You look behind. Both sits bones settle down. Take your counter twist. And point the right toes toward the front of the mat. And we're going to try this without hands, though hands are totally fine if you need to use them. Take prayer. You're going to move yourself toward a fallen tree, otherwise known as standing split without your hands. Take an inhale, and then exhale. Lifting left leg. Plant hands about a foot in front of this right foot. We're going to take our way back to a vinyasa, and so you could step back, leap back, or even take a handstand as you float to chaturanga. Your style, go ahead. Downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg out behind. Exhale this foot between your hands. Interlacing fingers, climb up to high lunge. You can flip the palms inside out. Make room at chest and shoulders. On the exhale, dip down, interlace fingers on the way. Humble warrior. The back heel rolls down. We'll fold. Integrity at the left hip, so it wraps back and in, maybe even lifts up a touch. Inhale, fingers to earth, back heel can lift. We'll walk the hands way over to the right inner knee for half a squat. That knee bends, left toes point up, take hands into your heart. We'll spread across the chest. Slow the breathing, make it full. We're going to prepare for our half bind. So that right arm moves out in front of the right shin, palm touches outside the foot onto the ground. It will pivot around to face the back of the mat. Back heel lifts, both hands are down. Just check on your alignment. Now the upper shin bone is resting on top of the upper arm bone. Going to bend that right knee enough, send the heel up and towards your belly button. And this could feel like enough, or you send the heart forward, elbows in a little bit, drag the back leg in until it can float. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Set the back foot down, front foot down, and pivot around. Wide-legged fold. Feet are parallel. Let's open up the arms, interlaced fingers. And we'll get into the rotator cuffs a bit as we fold. Using your exhales. Active engagement, even though it seems like it could be passive fold. Come on back to fingertips, flat back. Right toes in, left toes point to the front. You're going to tuck the back knee right behind the front heel, sitting all the way down for your Ardha Matsyendrasana twist. Hook the elbow. Plant both sits bones as you sit tall and look behind. And remain engaged. Remain always in the practice. Take a count or twist. And facing the top of the mat, left toes point forward, hands at your heart. You're going to shift to fallen tree like a standing split, but your hands don't touch. Take an inhale and an exhale to balance. Right leg lifting. Planting hands about a foot in front of the left foot. You'll take your vinyasa. You could step back, hop back, or even find handstand before you come back. Take your time. Downward facing. We'll sweep the right leg out behind, opening this hip. And bending the knee. Actively lifting it high. And then can you send the right elbow down? You might have to wiggle that left arm out of the way. It's all right. Gazing up to see your own toes. Take an inhale. And exhale, straighten both arms. Plant the right foot between your hands. Climb up to high lunge, interlacing fingers. Flip the palms inside out. And again, make some movement. Get free. Exhale, tip forward, find humble warrior again, back heel is down. Now we have an invitation to go a little deeper than we went before. Challenge yourself, for instance, to touch the back of your head to the ground. A couple of you will get knuckles to the ground, or maybe you're nowhere close. It doesn't matter. Find a depth in the threshold that feels challenging to you. Come on up to fingertips, lengthen. Walk the hands way over to the left side again, point those toes out, bend the knee. We'll come back to that half squat position. So the right heel lifts, hands start at the heart. If you'd like to, go for the bind version. So left arm in front of the shin, right arm wraps behind. Find fingers or even right wrist if possible. Keep the heart open as you gaze up and behind. Okay, unwind it. Let's keep this bind again. So left arm stays in front of the shin, plant that hand. Dive the right hand to the back of the mat. Lift enough to get the back heel off the ground. Once again, we're in an arm balance position, prepared. So the shin bone's high up on the arm. This time, we're gonna try to take it into a different version of half bakasana. So you would take the right knee up to the upper right tricep. I'll show you what I mean. Left heel comes up towards your seat. Heart needs to go forward. You can drag the back foot in, the hips high, until you can place that right knee on the right upper arm. So actually you're just in crow with a different sort of feeling on that left side. So if you're high up enough, you have enough stability, you can actually straighten that right leg off to the side or forward. Let the hips come down enough. They still have to lift though. Gaze out in the distance for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Maybe you can come out as you came in. Okay, left foot at the back of the mat. And we're going to pivot. Hands over to the center of the feet. One more time. Feet are parallel. This time though, you'll point the toes out wide and bend into one knee. And then the other. And stay in motion like this. And next time you're over on the right side, sit all the way down. The right knee will be bent. Left leg is long. Take your left hand to the right shin bone. Right arm will reach up, and you'll tip over toward the left leg. Right arm can cross the ear and even touch the foot. Explore your opening. And come all the way up. Use your hands to come over to the opposite side. Left knee bends, sit all the way down. Right hand takes hold of the left shin, left arm reaches up, and we'll tip down the length of the right leg. Get in a position where you can still find full chest breaths. And come all the way up. Plant your hands to lift your seat, and we'll pivot around to the inside of the right foot. Right hand stays, the left arm rolls up. You can tuck the right hip under your body. Maybe even wrap left arm behind you. Take any variation of side angle that would feel right. Pause for long breathing and complete body engagement. Unravel it, left hand comes down. Back heel lifts once again. Tuck left knee behind the right heel. This time though, set up in knee on knee, so bakasana legs. And we'll add the arms as well. So lift the left arm up, bend that elbow, walk the right fingers toward the left. Doesn't matter if they touch. Lift your heart, tip back, bow forward. Come all the way up to sit. And then release the arms. We'll pull the right knee up, plant the right foot, point the toes in toward the front of the mat. Just as before, we're going to try not to use our hands, but we're going to mix this up a little bit. It's going to be somewhere between that fallen tree shape and I guess like a king dancer, because you're going to be grabbing your back foot. So I'll show you what I mean. We'll take an inhale. Send the body weight forward, balance on the right leg, left knee bends. Can you grab that foot? As you do, pull it up behind you, your best. This could be enough, or you work toward opening the ankles. Go ahead. Even one hand grabbing is great. Release hands to the earth, right about a foot in front of the right leg. Now again, you can step back, leap back, or even take a handstand on your way to vinyasa. Take your time. We meet together. A downward facing dog. And slide the left leg high. Opening that hip, bending the knee. Reach it actively high. Curl the fingers a little farther forward and set your left elbow down. Reaching through right arm, look up to see your foot. Take an inhale. Exhale, straighten the arms, step left foot between your hands. Climb on up, interlace the fingers, and flip the palms inside out. So you can explore and make room. Keep zipping up from the root. Inhaling. Exhale, bow for humble warrior. Back heel grounds. Fold in. As long as you feel like you're not dumping into your left hip, you can explore depth here. Inhale, take fingertips to earth. Then walk them way over to the right. We're going to take your half a squat over by the right knee. Left toes point up, take hands to the heart. If you'd like that full bind, wrap. Gazing up and behind, full breathing. We'll keep the right arm bound, but we'll unwind this to face the back of the mat. Back heel can lift. Once again, we're going to drag ourselves into that bakasana to explore the half bakasana variation from the Ashtanga series, actually. So your shin bone is parallel, or your shin bone is riding on that right tricep. Send the heart forward, drag the hips high, the leg in, left knee comes to the top of your left tricep. That might feel like enough. Or straighten the left leg off to the side, or even forward. Squeeze in through the hips and knees to lift up a little higher. Heart still forward for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Berry bend the knee. And then set right foot down, step the left foot back, and walk your hands over to the center of your legs. Parallel the feet. Okay, this time let's go for an inner thigh opening. So I encourage you to heel toe the feet out. Come to a place that feels like a useful opening. So you could even come down onto your elbows. You could even set the hips down, tip forward. You can always pause and linger if you want to, but I'm going to invite you to inch out. I know it's intense for a lot of you. So keep a pretty wide legged stance though. I want to teach you a variation of peacock pose. So if you know how to do peacock, your fingers are pointed back, you're balancing basically on your elbows and your legs are flying in the air. It's not an accessible pose, but there is an accessible or more accessible variation with your legs wide. It's just easier for some reason to suspend your legs above gravity, against gravity when the legs are wider. So I'll show you what I mean. You're going to take your legs wide, point your fingers back, draw your elbows in, send the heart forward enough to get your elbows underneath your chest line. Send the heart forward, the hips high, point the sits bones high, and then float your legs. Keep the chin off earth for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Set your feet down. Come on back, recover. And then we'll pivot. Right toes in, left toes point to the front of the mat. Left hand stays to the inside. We'll build our side angle now. Right arm reaching up. Tuck the left hip under. And take your variation. Connect to long breathing, healthy muscular engagement. Unwind it, plant your hands, get back knee tucks behind the front heel, set up for Gomukh legs, knee on knee, using arms today too. So right arm lifts, we'll bend that elbow, walk the left fingers toward the right. An active opening, one way or the other. Send the elbows back, lift your heart, and tip it forward. Inhale, come all the way up, lift your chest. And then exhale, release the arms. Lift the left knee, plant this foot, point the toes forward. Hands can start at your heart. So remember, we're going to dive toward that balance, and we're trying our best to grab hold of this back foot. If you can't do it with two hands, do it with one hand. You could play hot potato on the ground. We're just challenging our balance, looking for a little bit of freedom while we're in the balance. Okay, take an inhale. Exhale, dive it forward. Maybe you can grab your foot. Release hands to the ground about a foot in front of left foot. You can step back, leap back, or even take a little handstand playtime first. Take your time. We'll end up meeting each other in downward facing dog. Sweep the right leg out behind. Place this foot between your hands. Set the back knee down, sink the hips forward. And then we'll straighten the right leg, come all the way back to sit inside your heel, flexing the right foot. Okay, if that's not comfortable, move, bend the knee the other way or come up onto some height. But we'll fold in the direction of the right leg. Lengthen spine, come all the way up. Invite you into krounchasana. So you'd keep the knee bent, bend your right knee, interlace fingers behind this foot. Sit up tall and extend the right leg. Can you pull the chin close to the shin? Looking toward toes. Ideally balancing on top of your sitting bones, not behind them. And then release halfway, left hand to the outside of this foot, right arm reaching up, and then behind, find a twist. Face forward, bend the right knee off to the side. Take your half lotus. Okay, half hero, half lotus. This could feel like enough, or sit tall, take a twist to the right, wrap the right arm behind you, find those toes. If you're very flexible, take Gyan Mudra, forefinger to thumb, point the palm down, tuck the fingers underneath your outer knee. Open the heart, send the shoulders down and back, look behind. Find the counter. Okay, one last phase of this is to play with this right hip a little bit. So we would do that by keeping the foot in the hand, keep the right knee on the ground. I'm just going to angle myself so you can see me. You're going to tip weight over to the right a little bit and see if that foot will come off of your thigh for you. And if it doesn't budge, don't force it, and you don't want lateral movement in your knee. You want it to be coming from the hip. So if it's not there, it's not there. Just be at your threshold. If it feels pretty reasonable, pretty comfortable though, go ahead and lean over, lift that foot up, and some of you will be able to take your right elbow into the foot. You can open the angle of the shin to the thigh about 90 degrees in order to make that work. And no breaking ourselves today, but find a threshold. Again, we'll stay here 5 breaths. And a mindful release. You're going to extend the right leg toward the front of the mat, tip to the right, extend left leg toward the top of the mat. Bend your knees, cross your shin bones, plant your hands in front of your feet, lift your seat. Step the right foot back, the left foot back. Find flow. Downward facing dog. Sweep the left leg behind. Place this foot between your hands. Set the back knee down, let the hips sink forward a bit. Straighten the left leg and then send your body weight back. Sit inside the back heel. Check to see you're relatively balanced. Flex the left foot. Fold over the leg. Come on up. Finding krounchasana, bend the left knee, interlace fingers underneath that foot. Sit tall, extend the leg. Can you balance up on the sits bone as you bring the leg closer and closer to you, gazing high? Release it halfway. Cross right hand to the pinky toe edge of this foot. Left arm reaching up. And then reach behind you. Gaze back. Facing forward, point the left toes wide to the side as you bend the knee. Come on into half lotus, or it can always pause where the knee is just bent, foot is inside. So do your best here. Half lotus. Sit tall, take a twist to the left. You might be able to wrap the left arm behind. Take Gyan Mudra, point the right palm down, fingers tucked underneath your knee. Can you still lift the heart as you look back, setting the shoulders down? Find your counter. The last phase of this is to keep the left knee anchored, but to take hold of your left foot Tip over to the left and see if there's any give. Is the hip open enough to get your foot off of your right thigh? It's not really worth dragging it a whole lot. I mean, it would be worth the stretch at the ankle and the foot itself. It's worth the stretch at the hip, but it is not worth any pressure whatsoever at your knee. So be honest, be where you're at. If a moment comes where you can tip way over, push the foot away from your body, be with that opening. Some of you will even take that elbow into the foot. It's kind of like doing grasshopper arm balance, seated. And maybe prayer hands to the chest. If you got low back stuff, this probably isn't worth it. It's just a little too taxing. 5 breaths. A mindful release. Extend the left leg forward, tip over to the left, extend the right leg forward. Put a bend in the knees, cross the right shin bone over the left. Hug in nice and tight. Dive the hands in front of your feet, lift the seat. Send the left foot back, the right foot back. Your flow. Downward facing. Okay, hop through or step through to sit all the way down. I'm just going to cue the hop through. So say it a lot, but it's a line forward, not up and down. That helps. Getting used to that feeling of having the knees in the chest and being compact, as we just did, is really, really helpful. It's a lot of hip flexor compression work, as well as the ability to squeeze your heels in super tight. Think of it as physics, not strength. You know, if you can get small enough and create the right energy line, you can make it work. Look forward. You'll cross on the way. Sit all the way down. Lay all the way back. Bend the knees. Point them toward the sky. Just rest for a moment. Take stock. Okay, where's your energy level today? We're going to do 2 back bends. So I want you to be able to do the back bends that are coming to you. If you have 3 wheels in you, please do 3 wheels or 2 wheels. Okay, fish, camel, bridge, even a scorpion on your forearms is perfectly great. I'm going to opt for fish today. Sending heart up, chin up, top of the head to the ground. Even extending legs 45 degrees, taking palms together, arms 45 degrees as well. An active strengthening of the upper back. 5 breaths. And lift the chin, a complete rest in between. Setting up for one more back bend, anyone you choose. I'll find my way to wheel. And a release. Get a little floppy, the knees can rock side to side. Take it as recovery. Okay, keep the feet separated, but the knees fall to the left. Hook the left foot on the outside of the right thigh. So this is mild twisting, but also just a little bit of freeing of the fascia of the right outer hip and low back. And through center, unhook. Keep the feet wide, knees wide. They fall to the right. Right foot hooks on the left outer knee to encourage it down. Send breath especially into the left outer hip. Both knees are heavy. Back through center, unhooking. Now's your time of finding final relaxation. Any layer or cushion that will suit you and make you feel luxurious. It's totally worth it. I'm going to prop up under the shins as well as under the head with a little bit of a roll for the thoracic spine. I'll wake us in a few. to deeper breathing and movement. Working your way toward a stretch. And climbing up for a seat. Congrats for logging yet another practice, Yogi. Love hearing from you. Stay in touch. Be well.